All right, I'm back. So, did take a let's see what has happened since I came off. So, took a GJ trade. We've been just bouncing around this area here. I was looking at earlier. I was looking on the 1 hour because I was playing with just just the same stuff: support and resistance, breaks and retests, things of that nature, and looking, and I was like, okay, where are some trades that I could have taken, using the same process that I normally do. And so we had this zone that was broken out. This is at 5, that was at 6. So if I was up, so broke out of this area, what would be the next shot? I'd be jumping down to the lower time frame, whatever time frame that is. Like the concept works no matter which time frame you're looking at. It's just a matter of, is it going to be something quick, something or something more long term. The problem with the lower time frames, like the 1 hour, the 5 minute, the 30 minute, the 1 minute, things of that nature, is you're more susceptible to new news impact and things of that nature. So so looking at this trade here, would have had waited for the pullback on the wick creation. This would have been a nice little zone that I was looking at. So if this was the wick, I would have been looking for twice that. 225 450. That's twice that. It does put me underneath this zone here. So if price were to break and close below the zone, then chances are it's probably going to continue down because it now has 1 minute up or downtrend structure. That would probably be respecting. So it's like I could get out of this trade early. Still waiting for, because it didn't pull back beyond 50% or anything like that, didn't come deeper. Not going to do the open, would do the high of the breaking above the high. And so looking at that, going all the way up to, well, 1 to 3 would be nice, but that doesn't always happen. So what is the next area to look at? Well, the next area would be up in this area right here. Always trying to pull profits before you actually get to this area, because you have no idea if it's going to reject early, or if it's going to reject, where it's going to reject, especially when you start getting into these I think they call them railroad candles. Some whatever, have taken Rock's FX Academy, things like that. He calls them break back in. So if you had a level right here, which lines up with all this stuff right here, price broke out and then immediately broke back in. And so he calls them bobbies, if I remember correctly: break out, break back in. And so I like that term. So with that being said, you don't know where the actual area is. If this is it, then we'd be going for somewhere in here. So that'd be a 1-to-1. So actually, yeah, let's leave it at a 1-to-1. So that would have been a 1-to-1 going a little bit before this area here. Does that line up with everything over here? Let's see. So yeah, that would have been more like it. So 1-to-1 is smooth. 1-to-1, 1.2. That's fine. So looking at that, then we have, okay, well, this is another area that's been respected cleanly in the past and given some good bounces out of. What would that look like if I were in? This also lines up with the fact that on the daily, this is the same area, except now I'd be toning it in a little bit more down to the hourly. The hourly would give me a little bit smaller distance. From here, he's going straight down, all the way down to the next zone. So down on the hourly, we have the test, the rejection. And so if price is going to continue this next rejection, mark up the areas, looking for retracement there. Coming back to this here, it's like, okay, price retraced that candle much more than just 50%. So now that it's done that, I don't have to worry about the breaking lows, although it didn't actually come down here and create any lows, but it did pull back. So now I can just do the open of the candle as the entry. And if this area is going to be respected as being the 50% area to come back and possibly retest before falling, then I'd be good to go. And then if it breaks above or it doesn't even show any sign of slowing, I could possibly get it cut out of the trade early. So, you know, stop that. 1 to 3 is the goal. So if I was in this trade, we'd be shooting for something like that. Does it make sense on the 1 hour? Yes, it does. Doesn't look like we sort of have any sort of reaction problem areas till we get to right around this area where we did have an up and a pullback area there. That's solid. So it looks like solid moves up, but no real support area on the way down. So that's that, if not all the way down to the actual bottom itself, which would bring us to a 1 to 4, 1 to 4.5, depending on where you actually get to close it. So those are the two things that have gone on. I think I did have there we go. I did have this one marked up earlier, saying I'm waiting for a rejection there. And so we did get a rejection there. The question is, okay, cool. What does that look like? We would have been going for 50% of that whole candle to come up and give a wick test. This area still lines up nicely right there. Thicken that up a little bit. Does it make sense? Yep. Test. And now we're coming to test. We got our first rejection. So down on the 1 minute, the question is, would I've already been triggered in? And the answer would be no. So we did have our pull back. So that would be nope, no, because that's right there. So it didn't have a pullback, but it's come all the way back this way. So then the question would be, okay, well, what would that give? Well, we're near the end of the close of the 1 hourly anyway. So yeah, we got 27 seconds. So obviously this one wouldn't have played out. So we can just ignore this one. So then the question becomes, okay, now that we're on the 1 hour, we have this zone here. It's broken through. Can we get a breakout, break back in? Who knows? We're getting ready to close here on this one. So what we would do is mark up. I got 1 second. There we go. Mark up the mid. That one right there. That's not the mid. That was the top. And then get my 50%. And what we'd be waiting on is the same thing as before. We would like to see price come up a little bit before pulling back. Once it pulls back in and around this area, then we'll look for a entry there. If it pulls back further, then we'll look for an entry roughly around the break of the open of that candle, around the open of that candle. So that's the current plan. I will grab, what is this? Is this the line? Yay. There we go. I'll grab this alert here and we'll be looking for, I just want to see if it starts to pull back to about halfway. That way I can actually monitor it. So that would be the current plan. What does it look like setting up? Well, if we get here, then we'd be looking at that. If we get back here, we'd be looking at that. So, and we'll see how this goes. So yeah, that's it. That's all we got for right now. So I'm going to go ahead and pause and see you later. Yeah, walked away to go get some food and look what happens. So price did start coming down, has not actually made it down to the 50% area and is rejecting this area here. So I would have to see, I'd have to see. So once again, I want this down here. I would like it to come down. I would like it to come down, but it's respecting this area, which is good. If we get a break above this area and then maybe a pullback to this area, then I'll look to take that there. Let me think about that. Because if it breaks above this area, pulls back and respects this area, so I'd be waiting. I could still set my entry above here, But then the question becomes, do I really need such a big stop loss? Because I'd be going with double this. When in reality, if this is going to continue this uptrend, these are the levels it shouldn't break. This one here and then this one here. So if that's the case, I could put it there. But I like being safe though. So this would be 8, so 16 pips stop loss. So that's what we're waiting on. We're waiting on a break. Candle would have to pull back into this area and show some wick rejection or some indecision, maybe a pullback and then a small like doji candles like this, and then set the stops wherever above the highs of wherever this broke out of. So technically, oh, did I do the wick? No, it's only a 5 pip wick. So let's do 10. There we go. So that is the current plan. Does not look like, man, I got like 3 plans on here. So just being a little bit fluid with this. There we go. There, I want some indecision. And then we'll take our, that's, I guess I need to think about that because normally my straight across is the entry, and that wouldn't be the entry. So yeah, we have to see about that. Now it's getting messy. Man, I hate messy. Okay, you know what? Let's clean this up. But yeah, there's the plan. You've heard it. You've heard it here, folks. So let's see what we get, and I'll let you know how that ends up playing out. So current plan now, since price hasn't done anything as of sort, come up, come down, play around a little bit, and then I will take an entry above here. There we go. That's what I'll do for play around. Rejection area, play around, and then entry above there and go. With the 10 pip, 10 pip distance for that. And we'll go there. Does that still look like it plays out on the 1 hour? Where's our next level? Our next level is over here. So we still get a 1 to 225. So that's our level there. And that's what we'll go with. Good stuff. All right. Zone to zone. Support to resistance. All right. So yeah, that'll be that. Stay tuned. See what happens. Right, so they stopped there, closed above, got rid of that alert. Now just waiting to see if it comes back into this area, rejects. I'll see where it goes. All right, here we go. So got an alert. So far we've go strong into this level here. We'll see how these next candles play out. If that's the case, we will. Oh, look, we will see where that goes.
Can I go like cut math in the library?
School. So, I mean, this is what we got so far. It's not doing anything. Wouldn't have been triggered into this trade because we've been waiting for the break of the high here. Didn't happen. It's actually broken lower. Seems to be retesting, respecting this area-ish here. And so, yeah, I would have been, that'd be done. So now the question then becomes, okay, what do we do on, we'll have this 1 hour doji candle. Is this similar to something like this, just on a smaller scale, where the next candle, even after that, will continue up? Very possible. So what do we do? Same thing. I'll wait till this candle closes in 20 minutes, see where the candle, or mark up the highs and everything like that. Look at particular 50% of wicks and things of that nature. It gets kind of finicky when you start getting into a doji because you have no idea how a doji is going to, or how the next candle is going to respond to a doji. But yeah, you see, look at all these. Whenever you get a doji, it's like you have no idea where the next candle, how the next candle is going to respond. So we'll see how it goes. You got 19 minutes on this one. I think we're more than halfway through of the hourly candle. So I think we can go ahead and cut ties on this one. We'll be like, no, that's just not the trade for me. It could work out. You never know. We'll see how it goes. You know, price could just all of a sudden just start shooting up. Something similar to this. But you can't. You're less likely to find those than the ones that just generally go when it's time to go. This would be more of a shooting for the moon thing, try and crapshoot, gambling, things like that. Less probability, less predictability, or less predictability with it. So I did have some alerts go off. I was busy. I had a conference call and all this other stuff. Excuse me, but so coming back to look at this CAD CHF, we were on the hour time frame. We're looking for, as prices broke this level, we were looking for a continuation. We did get a continuation, but did not get an entry on a lower time frame. Then we got this doji candle, and it's like, okay, what do we do with the doji candle? I said we would wait. We're already 40 minutes in it, 20 minutes in it. Sorry, we got 40 minutes left. But let's see what we would have done for here. See, this is where it gets like, it's weird because you don't know what to do with the doji candle. Doji's indecision. The market doesn't even know what it's going to do. So you're really just, I would basically, after this push here, which didn't really push much higher, this would almost be like, okay, this could be now a time to pull back. But it also could be a pause before it decides to go up a little bit further. It's very, very possible. Once again, you know, what would we be waiting on? We have this high here from the previous doji, so I would definitely be working with that, because right now as it sits, it's like created this small little range where probably here and here. And so we're waiting for either breakout this way or breakout that way. So if it breaks above this level, then I would look for let's actually draw that out. So we have our wick creation. If this is going to be, the wick creation comes all the way down here. If this is going to be the wick and it's going to continue up, it'd have to break this area here. So we'd want it to continue breaking and then continue up. No pause, no anything else like that. So it would look something like so. The wick on this candle, right there, 3 pips, so 6 pips. And then we'd want this up there. So this is roughly what it would look like. Do we have, like, I believe we already looked and saw, do we have, yeah, we have the upside potential for it. That would be just a strong continued push. I was like, okay, cool. If that's not the case, what else are we looking for then? Well, if this is going to break to the low side, if this is our range that we're playing with here, then if this is the wick, we would go for, we want a break of that low. This low is not as clean. Okay, there we go. I'll use that area. It's not as clean as I would like. So to be safe, I would probably come a little bit further. I mean, if it's going to come down, it's going to come down. If we have room, we have room. Our wick entry is, that would be 2. So good gracious, only, well, 1.5. Let's do 4. So we have that. Want a good strong break down there. And then do we have enough range? We have a range for 1 to 1, so that's fine. So what does that look like? Just to make sure we're looking clear here. Zone there. I don't know. That one's getting kind of dicey. So can't even barely get a 1-to-1. So that would be the game plan there, is wait for price to break here, take an entry, and then follow it down. So that's what we got. That's all I'd be playing with right now because I really have nothing else. The other alert went off is EA. What alert went off for you? You just a close in. Nope, you touched the ray. Okay, yeah. So this triggered me into the hedge. This was going to go for just a 4-hour buy up to the highs. That did not happen. Instead, we broke down. So now we're hedged into this trade right here. And basically we'll just wait till price gets down here. Take another trade and see where that goes. Yep. The only thing above that would be these highs here. I'd probably take this whole thing into consideration to include the wick area. There we go. So that would be the next area of looking. There is a possibility if we get a nice pullback into this area here and show some rejection, could close that buy and leave the sell and let it fall down. Have a little entry or you know what I mean, a hedge position a little bit above this area. We'd have to see how that works out, see how price reacts to this area here and go from there. So that is that. All right, back to work. So once again, we had a candle close and we didn't get anything that helped the situation. We did not get tagged in. Now, granted, yes, if you look at the spreads, yes, we would have gotten tagged in with the spreads. But once again, this is one of those things like I'm looking, checking. This is planning, executing. This is what it would look like if I did it on the daily, a 4-hour, you know, and any of the others as well, and where the spreads wouldn't even matter. So on the daily, you know, outside of around 5 o'clock each day, and then right before you know, end of the week, you know, spreads get huge. But when it comes down to the actual process, the process is still the same. Wouldn't be touching it right now, so we'll leave it alone. I will be going ahead and cleaning this up, and then we'll just see what else is going on. So it's all cleaned up now, and this is roughly what I'd be looking at. I'd be looking at a bounce if it comes back down into here and then bounces up, or a bounce from the top when it comes down from the top.